Good morning. Today is Thursday, September 26, 2024, and of course, we are on the set of Inside Nigeria Leadership Breakfast Show. My name is Winifred Ubebo, your host of the program, and on this first segment of the show, we like to review front headline stories of some select national newspapers, including Nigeria's most influential leadership. Leadership's leading story today says Feud price war. Tinubu won't dabble in Dangote NNPCL feud presidency. Feud price war. Tinubu won't dabble in Dangote NNPCL feud presidency. Insists PMS regime has been deregulated. Pengasa urges federal government to increase stake in Dangote refinery to 45%. Leading story today on leadership. We have the picture of Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa Mido and other senior officers at the graduation and badging of Defense Special Force ceremony in Abuja yesterday. As leadership raised trustees for Awalu Salisu's education today, Awalu Salisu's was leadership's Pressing Young Person of the Year award for refunding some huge amount of money in funding his KK. And leadership today is unveiling the trustee for his education today. Sexual harassment, female soldier demands probe report. Federal government approves 77,000 naira as monthly allowance for corps members. Expect Tinubu's cabinet reshuffle soon. And we move closer to the masthead. CSO submits electoral reform memo as NAS begins. Telecom operators turn to renewable. Monthly energy bill hits 56 billion naira. Above the masthead, Senate confirms Kekere Ekun as CJN. After two friends strike, issues federal government 14-day ultimatum. That concludes review of the front headline stories. We move to the page 3 of the paper where we have our stand. And of course, today's stand is on go the whole hog or shut up. The whole hog or shut up. Talking about the media war between this current governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, and his predecessor in office, Bello Matawale, who is also serving as Minister of State for Defense. There's been a brickbat between both of them since, and the leadership at stand today says, go the whole hog or shut up. From that, we move to the back page where we have Being Blunt with Muazu Elize. Muazu is writing on Cardoso, Buhari mismanaged the economy. Fix it. That is what Being Blunt today is all about. And in quote, yes, it's true that Buhari's administration mismanaged the Nigerian economy. The current economic team must fix it. Pure and simple. And of course, so pure and simple, we conclude today's review of Leadership newspaper. For more, log on to www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move over to the Punch. Punch has different, also is one of the highlighted stories today on Leadership's cover, but that's for this forms the main story today on the Punch. It says cabinet shake-up. Tinubu demands 46 ministers fresh scorecards as lobby begins. Cabinet shake-up. Tinubu demands 46 ministers fresh scorecards as lobby begins. Cabinet rejig will be based on ministers' performance. Presidency. Political bigwigs. Ministers intensify lobbying. Beneath that main headline story, we have the pictures of the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulu, doing the assessment of the flood damage on Mafa-Dikwa Road in Borno State. You can see the pictures. They are in the boat, the governor inclusive. Beneath that, Kekere Ekun warns judges against corruption after Senate confirmation. Bobrisky, Minister of that alleged bribery probe, Falana plan suit. Edo poll marred by vote buying, delay, NBA observers. Beside the masthead of the Punch, Yaya Bello, EFCC files fresh 110 billion naira fraud charges. And both the masthead, Dangote refinery, marketers plan direct petrol purchase. Government moves 30% third fund allocation for student loan. Federal government proposes NIN tax for foreigners. That concludes review of front headline stories on the Punch. For more, log on to the website. From the Punch, we move over to the Guardian. Same headline story. Shake up. 11 ministers, senior official may go as Tinubu reshuffles cabinet. Shake up. 11 ministers, senior official may go as Tinubu reshuffles cabinet. We have the ministers, the pictures of these ministers on the cover beneath that main headline story. And we have the chief of staff to President Bola Tinubu, Gbajabiamila. He says may be replaced, but that remains to be seen. We have Fashola may emerge new chief of staff. We have Ojo faith pending. We have Ozoka Anite faith pending. We have Tijani faith pending. Bagudu faith pending. Edu ministry may be scrapped. Salako may be removed. Oyedele Minister of State Finance. A survive shake-up. Well, that remains to be seen because the presidency has said that cabinet Nigerians should expect cabinet reshuffle soon. Beneath that, court restrains PDP governors NWC BOT orders from dissolving pro-Wike ESCOs in Rivers. It's a story that runs on page 7 of The Guardian. Disclose details of investigation. Dismiss female soldier challenges army. Bobrisky, federal government orders probe of bribery scandal in NCOS EFCC. After confirmation by Senate, CJN vows to sanitize judiciary. Beno claims vendetta as EFCC slams 110 billion naira in fresh fraud charges. Federal government denies interference in petrol pump price roll. With that, we conclude front headline stories today on The Guardian. As we move over to Daily Sun, Daily Sun, same main headline story. It says fierce grip ministers over cabinet shake-up plans. Reshuffle will be based on performance. Presidency. Tinubu directs ministers to promote administration's progress. Fierce grip ministers over cabinet shake-up plans. Reshuffle will be based on performance. Presidency. Tinubu directs ministers to promote administration's progress. Beneath that headline story, Hunger 79, Nigeria seeks debt forgiveness, permanent secretary council seat. EFCC, Yaya Bello heads to Supreme Court as arraignment is adjourned to October 30. One dead, two missing in Ibadan flood. Residents flee as flood ravages communities in Kebbi. Bobrisky, federal government orders probe into alleged bribery in correctional centers. And just beneath the masthead of Daily Sun, fresh crisis looms in public varsities as ASU gives federal government 14-day ultimatum to implement demands. CJN Kekere Ekun gets Senate's none, talks tough on corrupt judges in discipline. That concludes front headline stories of Daily Sun today. For more, log on to the website of Daily Sun as we head to the last paper on our menu today, and that is Vanguard. Vanguard says panic in 11 states as release of water from Lagdo Dam begins. Panic in 11 states as release of water from Lagdo Dam begins. States activate measures to mitigate impact of flooding. Set up IDP camps. Confusion, tales of hardship as relocation order comes into effect as some communities refuse to obey. Beneath that, we have other stories gracing the cover. Of course, we also have a picture, an interesting one, the photo on the cover of Vanguard. We have at the launch of Her Money, Her Power. From the left, we have the founder and CEO, Bella Naija Uche Pedro, award-winning actress and filmmaker Funke Akindele, executive head of content and West African channels Multi-Choice, Dr. Bushola Tejo Mola, and founder of the She Tank, Blessing Omaku, at the launch of the She Tank and Bella Naija's groundbreaking women's economic power campaign tagged Harmony, hashtag Harmony, Her Power in Lagos last weekend. Congratulations to that. Bobrisky in trouble again for allegedly bribing EFCC officials with 15 million naira. Cabinet rejig to be based on minister's performance. Presidency. Tinubu won't interfere in Dangote NNPCL fuel price feud. Presidency. Catholic Church to Tinubu speak out on fuel price controversy. Federal government raises NYSC's members' allowance by 133% to 77,000 naira. We move to sports. Paris Olympics spare no one who brought shame to Team Nigeria. Paris Olympics spare no one who brought shame to Team Nigeria. That talks to the stories above the masthead of Vanguard. 25 observer groups stormed down Edo election. Labour Party was rigged out. Reps caucus. Igbenedion Koduwa Obaseki's S-aide. Hey, Governor-elect Okpebolo. And we have, okay, that also concludes October 1 protest. Hashtag end bad governance. Organizers propose virtual meeting with police as rights groups take protest to Vanguard. Seek release of detained protesters. With that, we conclude the front headline stories of Vanguard, and of course, they conclude the first segment of this show, Inside Nigeria. We have our second segment of the show coming in with our guest in the studio. Don't go away, stay tuned.
Be part of our brand. Leadership for
is Inside Nigeria, your breakfast show on Leadership Television. This is the second segment of the show. My name is Winifred Ubego once again, and I have my first day guest in the house. He is a political economist, public affairs analyst, Olamileko Adefolarin. Thank you so much once again.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on this
you.
program. Now, first, where do we start? We have papers. Of course, leadership stands out today. It's also made leadership's leading story is also trending in other cover of other papers. It's a Feud price war. Tinubu wants Dabble in Dangote NNPCL Feud Presidency. Insists that PMS regime has been deregulated. Pegasus urges federal government to increase stake in Dangote refinery to 45%. So what is in essence is Tinubu saying is the fact that fuel can go as high as 1,300 or 1,200 as is being speculated, and he's not going to do anything whatsoever about it.
Simply, it's because of the implication of the PIA law which showed that the regulation of the sector is coming, and the regulation is what simply to also attract investors. When this particular document was being placed at National Assembly, and many Nigerians were like, we need to go for the regulation.
We cannot just say that. But most times, when they say policies must wear human face, you can't say that. Oh, you must go the whole hog. When you know that your efforts or your policies has impoverished Nigerians and created a hardship, untold hardship on Nigerians, and you still say you want to go ahead with whatever policies you have.
It is because the Nigerian society, as we speak right now, is divided into two. The people who care for the poor are agitating that this must be reversed. People who care for Nigerians in their own understanding in terms of how to ensure that the oil and gas sector get its footing and remove the functions of government from it. They are the one that.
And you and I know that with the price of hiking price effect, it must always have attendant adverse effect on other indices. Talking about goods and commodities.
Exactly.
Food prices has skyrocketed out of the roof. Nobody can access food any longer. Food has become inaccessible. And the other day, World Bank said about 40.7 million Nigerians are in poverty.
Definitely, it will happen because we have the choice of the policy we have taken is the choice of the neoliberal policy that want to open the Nigerian economy. And opening the Nigerian economy, the government wants to move its hand from certain activities, particularly dictation of price of goods and services. So that's why the regulation comes in the oil and gas sector. If you remember, before PIA came in, what was the excuses that they were giving us? That we must deregulate to open up their economy, to open up that sector so that investors can come in. And so we deregulated. How many investors are coming? Now they are not telling us that if we want deregulation to stay, government must not dictate price. And that's what is happening. They told us the same thing in the electricity sector, that we will have to sell all the electricity this thing. We sold them. Have we
At the end
had
of the day, we are paying more.
So the thing is that is the choice that government made as a result of the pressure from the elite who want this to happen. And the intended implication, as you already pointed out, is the poor that will suffer for it. Now we have deregulated. The only caring aspect of the deregulation is that 3% must come to the host community. That's why everybody's eyes was. But they never knew that in terms of the price of the commodity himself, it's going to boomerang on the cost of living. And that's why we have found ourselves. So for me, it is better we let us go back. It is better we go back to regulation period than the regulation period. Because now, the presidency, as far as some of us, his hands are tied. If you want to pull his mind and his mouth into this deregulation aspect of oil and gas prices, definitely he may not get it as expected. Because at the end of the day, it is the stakeholders in that sector that come, it is the government that make it, putting pressure on them. They cannot make more money, they cannot do this.
And we are having a situation whereby even with that, even if you had to deregulate to go the whole hog, how come the federal government's refineries are still not working?
It's a deliberate act by the people in that sector, from the government aspect to the private sector. You ask me, what I see currently, the song we are hearing now is that those refineries should be sold. And that's what is on the table now, that they should be sold.
And that they want to give it to private investors to
come and manage. I mean, ask yourself, why can't government manage it? It is the same people that have been singing, do this. When they come to the table that they want government have done, they'll say that it's not enough, do more. Now they're asking us to do more to sell the refinery.
My take is that apart from Dangote, who else, like, okay, maybe $10, which other person has that financial muscle to actually take over those refineries?
I think it is private investors they are looking at.
That's what I'm saying.
The private investors are foreign investors.
Okay, maybe
in combination with domestic investors, yes, local investors. But we also know that there are individuals in the domestic economy that can also take. But their challenge is the oil and gas sector, as normally say, it has its cabal, it has its cartel. The cabals are local, the cartels are international. If you can succeed in winning the cabals, destroying the cabals locally, the cartel international you cannot destroy. The likes of OPEC, US and the rest of them who dictate the price of this global commodity.
And even EU
and the rest, you cannot fight them. So the challenge that we're having is that even if we bring investors to come and take over those refineries, the crude aspect will still be a challenge, because it is better the government export the crude and make more money and more revenue than selling it to local. And when they say sell it to local, those are the challenge that we're having. And if you sell it to local, it must be in naira. Meanwhile, it is a commodity that is regarded as international pricing. That's why you see the NNPCL still having challenges to give us more than 50% of gas they are exploring. But because they believe that they have to sell out.
And besides, if you even look at it, because Nigeria is now already in a monopolistic oil situation, because it's now buying from Dangote, and it's also prevailing on Dangote. Now you talked about the regulation. Yeah, the federal government is prevailing on Dangote to sell at a particular price. Now, what happens when the refineries are working? You see, that's just like what you said, cabal and so much personal interest. You would not want to make that refinery work at the end of the day, because the crude that the federal government is now selling to Dangote, it will no longer be available.
It won't be available.
If refineries are working.
It won't be available, definitely. It won't be available for Dangote, but government will be using it to produce and supply local markets.
Exactly.
Then
so what are we going to have at the end of the day? What is going to happen?
The issue is this: if government have the crude for domestic consumption, refined for domestic consumption, it will reduce the pressure of the price and supply gap. Because one of the problems that we're having with Dangote is that there's no much supply gap issues, but there's the price fluctuation challenges with NNPCL and Dangote. And the reason why government is insisting that you must sell at a particular price was because of the arrangement they're having with him. But government is also pointing at the law that is on ground, that fixing of price of this commodity must not be determined by government, but be determined by supply and demand. And we know that supply and demand is just a fixing by the business people. They just fix it and say, okay, create artificial scarcity, and they fix it. The people that are selling at 1,000 to 1,000, why are they costing at 1,000? They will tell you because of cost of transportation. But we also know that the artificial scarcity have been created within that sector so that that price can stay. And that's why we are having challenges. But we hope that if the refinery can work and be managed by government, the crude, the 450,000 barrel crude that the refinery should be consuming every day, will go to them, and government can use that liberalization in its own regard to now sell at any price it wants to. But if it is about private investors, they will not, because they will tell you they borrow money. They will begin to mention to you that the interest rate has been increased. So the cost of borrowing money is also increasing. So you begin to put all those factors into place, and the price will never be that price that ordinary Nigerians can afford. Did you hear what the refineries are talking? The owners of refineries are talking that government should peg dollar to naira at 1,000, that the price of fuel will come down to 600. And you begin to ask yourself, is it now a mechanism of fixing and fixing? Because where is that supply and demand coming in? Because over the years they have been telling us that it is supply and demand of dollar that is causing fluctuation of naira and dollar exchange. But we are now discovering that it is not that. It is just the appetite of government to make more money from the FX regime.
Which is really, really sad. So what is the way forward? Because with Nigerians continue to bear this hardship, because they tell Nigerians that, oh, you should bear it, that it will be better, beneficial to everyone concerned in the long run. And of course, we also heard this during the 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration.
It's sad. It's sad that anytime economists or mainstream economy talk about long run benefit, it is never there, because when they get to that long run junction, there will be another challenge. Exactly. That will now expand it to another long run. There is no benefit at the long run. That is just the fact.
And this is on the backdrop of the fact that they are also clamping down on protesters. It's just like there is an adage that says that when you beat a child, you should not expect that child not to cry. But that is exactly what is happening in this instance. People that are already planning, activists are planning for October 1st protest, they are already clamping down on them. Issuing them invitation.
Definitely, because the government is not ready to take any agitation from anybody, because the choice of its policy is a policy that is anti-people.
The bitter pill must be swallowed.
It has to be swallowed, and you have to pay for it. But the problem is this: see, there's one side of this policy that many of us are seeing. The technical aspect of it, the government is making money, but how to transmit and translate and transform that money to change the life of ordinary Nigerians? That's what is missing. How is that all the money they are making, 2.7 trillion first quarter of 2024, almost 2.8 or 3 million second quarter of 2024. Where is the money? You begin to ask yourself, where is those money? All the FAC allocation they are sharing, 1.3 trillion they shared in the month of August. Where is the money going? But how is the Nigerians are seeing the money? Welfare package is given to Nigerians, not political Nigerians, because there are political Nigerians who are benefiting from government. Ordinary Nigerians are all benefiting. Transport, everything is easy for Nigeria. Nobody will complain about this high cost. Even in developed clients, they're also suffering all this high cost of businesses, but their government is putting palliative that is going round. So the problem we have is the distribution of these resources is unequal, and that is why Nigerians will always agitate, whether they would like it or not. People that will protest on the first will protest. The only thing is, it may not be loud as expected, but people will see. Already Nigerians are even protesting. In houses, in the workplace, people are complaining. That alone is a protest.
Yes, because there's a story in one of the papers that workers, civil servants go to work twice a week now.
Even with all the staff bus that are provided for them.
When they go to work. Anyway, moving ahead, trending story. Yesterday there was a report that the army actually is out a female soldier who alleged sexual harassment against some of the superiors. Yet, following the development, the female private, what is this, her name, has demanded for probe report to be released, and because this is in other papers today.
It is expected the army should. I think the army have been over the years, or the Ministry of Defense over the years have established what they call the civil-military relation, which give confidence and boost to civilians, trusting the military, trusting the army, the navy, and the air force. It's an opportunity for them to release the probe report. Although I don't know whether
because she denies the allegation that she doesn't have mental issues. However,
I think if it is that, I think I've heard the story, and a reality radio station also interviewed that lady.
Okay.
And the reality radio station.
And how did she sound?
And the reality radio station have confirmed that that lady is actually having a mental issue. Because there's something that she did against the owner of that radio station. That I think it was this last Saturday that they make an announcement about. I think the Army Information General Wanchuku or someone that visited on regard to a particular issue that radio station is also having. Then that lady was in that radio station to make a complaint. Then it's like she saw the general there. Then there was a vehicle that brought water into that radio station compound. She now did a video of the general and the water company and did a TikTok video and began to announce that the army have come to bribe the radio station with bottles of water. So she sent it on TikTok, and that video went viral. And because of that, the owner of that radio station, who was interviewing and who also interviewed, was like, how could she do a thing like that? Somebody came for something else, and you saw a vehicle that brought water and he said the army have come to bribe them with water. I think it was from that conclusion that the personal concluded is actually this lady may be suffering from mental that the even the army, according to the person, said the army have a document of mental derangement about her. That if anybody cares to really prove that she can take it to a private mental health to go and confirm.
Okay, still on the issue of probe and or whatnot, we have the story of Bobrisky still trending because Bobrisky alleged in an audio that she bribed some EFCC officials with 15 million naira and the officials of the Nigerian Correction Centers.
I think Bobrisky is about to go back to jail. That's what I just
But what if his accusations are
whether I don't think if you are bold and if you give bribe and you are bold to announce it, is she making what do you call it?
What did he call her?
Is she?
She.
Is she? Yes. Now let's put that because we know that it's a guy. Well, is he making or is he making a fresh those that are what they normally do on social media that normally then Dan and Oscar can help us out. Those stuff they normally